Hey, what's up, subscribers and fellow vloggers and YouTube aficionados? Just wanted to go over a little bit of my backstory, especially for new subscribers and people from different continents, different parts of the world. So most of the stuff that I talk about on my channel is based on self-knowledge, knowledge that I've acquired throughout my 5 years of being an endurance athlete. I originally came to cycling in 2010, and back then that's me. Hopefully I can focus. That's my mom. That's me. I was 236 pounds back then. Hopefully the camera can catch that. Let me see. Let me step away so I can focus on that. Yeah. But yeah, I was 236 pounds back then. I was nowhere near becoming the vegan cyborg or anything like that. I was just kind of a couch potato guy, and I liked playing computer games, and that was my thing. And I always had friends who were into active things, but never really myself. I did some martial arts here and there, but not anything at a high level or a level that I would be competitive at. And in 2010, late 2010, my wife tried veganism, and I was already cycling. I was taking spin classes at the gym. The classes were like 5:30 a.m. in the morning. It was the hardest spin class on the island, taught by this trainer named Shinobu, and people would line up for this class. And so I knew her. We were kind of friends, so I would have priority on the seating for that class, which was fun. And it was a really hard class. It was a big time sweat fest, and learned a lot in that class and built up my endurance originally, or what I thought was endurance. And from there, there was one day where I was really jamming. I was on fire, and so the group was like, "Hey, Bernard, what try are you doing this weekend?" And I was like, "What's a try?" And they were like, "Hey, we're all triathletes in this spin class. So yeah, I think you should." They were like, "I think you should get a road bike. You really look like you enjoy spin class a lot." And so then I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Haven't really ridden a bike since high school, and that's not really my thing. I just come to spin class because it's a good workout." And so later I went on Craigslist, found this $250 bike. It was a Fuji newest 1.0 aluminum. Bought it, totally wrong size 49, too small. Bought it, rode it. Loved how fast it was on the skinny tires. Had never been on skinny tires before, and so that was so fun, riding fast, feeling like you're the Flash on that road bike. And so eventually I grew out of that bike and wanted a flashier bike, because I was also doing this fixed gear ride at night called Tuesday Night Ride, where everyone rode fixed gear and they were all really fast and younger than me and faster. But I really wasn't into fixed gear yet either. And so then I sold my Fuji newest, And then again, bought a bike that was too big for me, size 56. It was a Fuji Roubaix with a carbon fiber weave on the rear triangle of the part that connects to the chainstay area. So the rear triangle area was carbon, right where the brake mounts, the rear brake mounts. And so that was 2010, and I did my first century ride on it. I was 236 pounds, did my first century ride on it, and I did the century ride with people who are way more fit than me, and I was 236 pounds, totally fish out of water. And I made it to the 25-mile mark, and I was like, shit, man, still feeling good. And I saw a lot of people who looked more fit than I did back then, and they looked exhausted. So I was thinking, hey, maybe I got a shot at the 50-mile mark. So then I rode to the 50-mile checkpoint, which was Swansea Beach Park, and I still felt pretty good. And so riding back, that's when it hit me. That's when I hit the wall for the first time, riding back. Because previously I was only doing spin classes, and I was only doing spin classes and riding to my local 7-Eleven down the road to a Walmart, which I thought was far, but it was like 2 miles away. And so then I hit mile 75. I was exhausted. I was hitting the wall. I was bonking everything. And so then so then I saw other people who looked way fitter than me, way lighter. These guys were diced to the socks, and they looked exhausted too. So I was thinking, like, hey, maybe it's not all in the looks, this endurance sport. So I'm going towards the 80-mile mark, and which has a hill right by Makapu Lighthouse. And so I'm climbing this hill. I'm in the small chain ring up front, and big cog in the rear, just dancing on my pedals, dancing like Lance. And I saw people who were like 130 pounds, 135 pounds, exhausted, walking their bike up the hill. And so I was like, shit, man, maybe I'm a little more fit, or maybe I had the will to succeed a little bit more than they did. So I continued on. Then after I crested that hill, I got my second win. Felt like a champ on the flats, and I was grinning, kind of smiling, grinning, because the backside was in a lot of pain, as well as the lower back, because I had never ridden that distance before. And so I pedaled on nonstop to the last checkpoint, refilled water, and pedaled on through the finish line. And from that point I was hooked, and eventually I got the nickname or the handle on Instagram, the Century Rider, because I was always doing century rides every weekend. Fast forward a few years, and then got more deep into my veganism, became the vegan Cyborg, and then after that changed my handle to the Green Cyborg, because I like eating greens, I like plant-based stuff, but I don't necessarily agree with some of the hostile comments from other vegans, so I kind of dropped the vegan handle on my name. I agree with veganism, just not with the way a lot of radical vegans approach it, and because I always did it from a sports performance perspective. How could veganism or a vegan diet help my cycling, my running, my swimming? Because later I became a triathlete as well. And 2 years ago, I ended up having a lot of friends who ran a lot. Foot run, and foot races, things like that. Trail races, run with the pigs, mud races, things like that. Not really Spartan runs, but just trail runs and marathon runners. And so I entered in my first free 10K hero run, and I enjoyed that really well. That was on Ford Island for all the fallen military personnel who fell in battle. It was a really nice run with the whole course laid out with military boots lining the whole course with all the people who served and passed away in battle. And it was a very good run, and from that point I got hooked to running. And 2 years ago, that was 2 years ago, and last year I successfully did the Hibiscus half marathon and I think it's called the Hapalua half marathon, Hibiscus and Hapalua half marathon. And then a buddy of mine knew I was enjoying running more. His name's Kalani. He ran a lot, and so for his 30th birthday he wanted to do a 30-mile run, which I thought was crazy, but I was into 100-mile plus bike rides, which everyone else thought was crazy. And occasionally I do in excess of 120 miles on the bike in one day, one ride, riding all day, sun up till sundown. And that was my thing, so they knew I had the endurance for it. So then I got invited to that. I did that run, nothing fast, just base mile kind of stuff, and I completed 30 miles of foot running from Eva Beach to Cocoa Head. And that changed my outlook on running. And then shortly after that, about a month later, I did my first Honolulu Marathon, 26.2 miles. Did that in, don't quote me on this, but I want to say 5 hours and 18 minutes. My first marathon. And also fast forward to 2 years ago, so 2015, I also did my first triathlon. Did I say fast forward? I meant rewind. Rewind to 2 years ago. I did my first triathlon. I was like, I was hooked. I wanted to see how far I could go. I wanted to test myself. So, entered in my first Honolulu triathlon. There was 2 different distances, sprint and Olympic, which I think Olympic is also called international. So I did international distance, and so did international distance, competed at that, did really well on the bike. I saw that I was a lot faster than a lot of the runners or swimmers who were on the bike, because the bike was my forte. I was able to overtake a lot of triathletes that day on the bike course. My bike course split was only about a minute and a half slower than the overall winner. So if it was just a bike race, I wouldn't have been that far back. But of course, the swim I did pretty good too, 33 minutes. for Olympic distance swim. But then the run at the end killed me. I was having IT band issues on my left IT band, iliotibial band. That's the ligament that connects your hip to your kneecap. So I was having issues with that. Had to stop several times, stretch it out, things like that. That just sucked. But overall, I finished pretty well compared to my friends. I finished pretty close to the finish time of my friends who were true triathletes, because my bike split was 10 or 12 minutes quicker than theirs. I don't know if it was 10 to 12. I know it was several minutes quicker than their bike split. So that's what gave me the advantage, even though I stopped several times during the run due to pain. Not due to cardio failure. But that's my story on the endurance things I've done in the past, and then which led to this tattoo here. When I was in Portland, Oregon, I found a vegan tattoo artist at Ritual Arts in Portland, Oregon. They use vegan ink, and I saw this triathlon design, the swim, the bike, and the run. Since biking's my favorite, the bike's red to show it's my fastest event. That's why it's red. He's like going faster, so he's on fire. He's red. And the swim, the bike, the run, that completes all three. And that's the story behind my tattoo, because coming from this guy back in 2005, yeah, this guy would have not participated in any of those events. But I was just tired of being tired all the time and needed a change, and that's where I'm at today. Currently I do have an injury again. That's why I'm coaching myself with this book, Triathletes Training Bible, to get a better understanding of the whole concept of year-round training, which I'm going to go over the chapter 1 of this book in my next vlog. Just wanted to touch bases with everyone who subscribes to my channel, and let them know where I'm coming from. I also missed one of the hugest things in my cycling resume, the Dick Evans Memorial Road Race, which I've completed 2 times. 3 years ago and 2 years ago, I did the Dick Evans Memorial Road Race, which is a 112-mile road race around the whole entire island of Oahu. 112, so that's ultra distance. And I trained up for that. I built up the base miles, built up the endurance through all my Century Ride training, which overlapped into the Dick Evans training because they're both long distance events. So I understood hydration, nutrition, and sodium potassium intake, and a little bit of FTP, sprinting, things like that, and heart rate zones, zone 2, zone 3, just cardiovascular training, in order to get me to the finish line. Now I'm at the point where I want to be more competitive with those events, so I'm learning more about it. And I'm not a climber. I'm on the heavier side, so I was never a climber. I was always more of a sprinter, flatland sprinter. And 2 years ago I also did my first race up the highest paved mountain on earth, Haleakala, 10,000 feet of climbing. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna end it there. And yeah, that's my backstory on the green Cyborg. Hope it was interesting, and hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed talking about it. What's your story? Yeah, I'd like to get to know your past endeavors, or if you have a really interesting story to tell, that's always good too. Thanks for watching. I'm the Green Cyborg from Oahu, Hawaii. Peace out.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you, come along and see it's true. But the world is pretty cold, you might need a sweater too. I'ma put a ride on ya, kid from California, trying to make it in life, in school they never taught ya. Dreams of my own, I've been working from home, I can do it on my own, but sometimes it gets cold like the moments when I was thought as a joke. Now they're giving me handshakes saying it was a joke, but I ain't joking around, I'm trying to give you all hope that you can do it if you want it, man, you drive your own road. Yeah, a notebook full of raps by the end of every class. That's my formula for life, not the formula to math like yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you, come along and see it's true. But the world is pretty cold, you might need a sweater too. I'ma put a ride on ya, kid from California, trying to make it in life, in school they never taught ya. Dreams of my own, I've been working from home, I can do it on my own, but sometimes it gets cold like the moments when I was thought as a joke. Now they're giving me handshakes saying it was a joke, but I ain't joking around, I'm trying to give you all hope that you can do it if you want it, man, you drive your own road. Yeah, a notebook full of raps of every class.